Okay, Rico, this is going to be really fun. What are you most recognized for? Galaxy Quest, Veronica Mars, Just Shoot Me, or Hope and Gloria?
Oh, that's a tough one. It depends where I am. You know what I mean? It's like it always surprises, but probably Veronica Mars, because there's a generational thing. You got fathers and daughters and children and new viewers and stuff. I'd say Veronica Mars.
From the heart of Hollywood, it's the Patrick Labber Show with Patrick Labyorteaux.
It's the Patrick Labber Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Tonight's episode, Enrico Colantoni.
Patrick Labber Show. He's the one you gotta know.
All right, guys, you know him from Galaxy Quest, Just Shoot Me, Veronica Mars, Person of Interest, and English teacher. Now, if you live in Canada, you also know him from Flashpoint, Remedy, and Allegiance. I know him as the calmest guy on the most traumatic set I have ever worked on. Please welcome my buddy, Rico Colantoni.
You remember those? I forget that I was a calm person back then. It was like
You seem pretty calm now, but
well,
dude, you
I
were
didn't
like
realize
so
that
zen.
that was such a a chaotic set at the time. It was like I kept
Well, just
looking
so that
to
everybody
you, Pat.
knows,
Yeah,
so we did this show for NBC when NBC was at the height of its zenith of like huge
must see TV. Yeah.
must see TV, and there was a show by the Steinkellners who were coming off of Cheers called Hope and Gloria, and Hope and Gloria was like this big next series where we both were on, and we'll get into kind of the details of it later, but that's how we met, and it was a crazy set. Act one, beginnings. Let's start with you, Rico. You're Canadian. You're living in
by
Canada.
by birth. Yeah,
Yeah,
American by choice.
American by
Canadian
choice,
and
right?
American by choice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your mom and dad are from Italy, right?
Italy. Yeah, yeah. Huh? Well, immigrants. Yeah.
So, an Italian kid in Canada. What causes you to desire to want to be an actor? How does that happen?
Uh, well, uh, my family was very demonstrative, as you might imagine. Like demonstrative. Some people would call it abusive today, but back then it was just demonstrative. They were demonstrating their emotions. So I got a sense of like what I wasn't allowed to do. I wasn't allowed to show my emotions, and it felt bottled up. I wanted to, and I took a theater elective in college, and that just opened up everything up. And I was encouraged to go to New York, and from New York, I relied on the kindness of my peers and my teachers to keep exploring it, and I never looked back, man. Yeah, but it really came from growing up in a household where everyone else is yelling except me. I go, I want to yell. I want to find my voice. I'm not allowed to. I'd get shut down if I tried to engage in any way. But I found that the theater was a good place to make mistakes and to be seen and heard, and really just fuck up in a lot of ways that were forgiving and not
Right.
it's a very forgiving place, the theater, and I loved it. I loved it for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a very once you get past the audition aspect of it,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
it's very company centric. No
Yeah.
matter, once you're on the set, once you're past the
Yeah.
gatekeepers, it can
Yeah.
be very, very like team oriented, which is
Well,
really, really sweet.
I don't know if it's a benefit or not, but you were a kid when you started doing this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So your sense of community was the job. I went to school for 10 years where it was just like, it was the island of misfit toys, everybody from
Right.
across the country trying to find themselves, trying to find their
Well,
voices.
you went to not school, you went to Yale. I mean, right? That's a
I
huge
went to the
deal.
Yale School of Drama after I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts because,
Oh my
well,
God.
the Academy was the only place that I knew of coming from Toronto. And then once you get to New York, you realize, oh no, it's not the only school. It's like if I wanted to carry a spear at the public theater, I'd have to go to Yale or NYU or Juilliard.
Uh-huh.
And Yale just seemed like the best place.
So you end up in New York doing what were you doing in New York? Were theater and what kind of stuff
I
were you
went to
doing
the
there?
American Academy of Dramatic Arts for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And then once I graduated from that program, it was just hard knocks for 5 years, doing plays with friends of mine, working under the table, you
Right.
know.
Now,
Yeah.
there's this weird thing that happens here in California. And again, like you said, I grew up as a child actor. And so invariably there would be, well, who is up for the part? Oh, and then you list off three other guys from California and some guy from New York. It was always like some guy from New York. And for us California actor kids, it was like this mysterious, oh, they do plays, they do stage. They're like real actors and we're the pretty boys. And so when we got to do Hope and Gloria, which I guess we'll get into now, because when Hope and Gloria, my experience on that show is crazy, but I heard about this young guy from New York who was coming in, who everybody loved, and that was you. And man, I just fell in love with you immediately. It's like, we got along so great from day one. I
Kindred
saw
spirits,
you at
brother.
Run Through, I think it was at the Steinkellners, and you just gave this great performance, and I can see absolutely why you were hired. So it was this TV show on NBC. Like
You
we
were
were
my
talking
first
about.
friend, Patrick. You were my
That's not
first friend.
true.
Yeah, in LA. Yeah. My first new friend.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
went looking for apartments for you. I knew that you were
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. I knew one
Wow.
guy. I knew one guy. I know where he is now, but you were my first friend that sort of took me under their wing, brought me to breakfast, introduced me to your friends.
Oh
You know,
man.
that Saturday morning breakfast at Ernie's Tacos,
Ernie's Taco House.
you
It was with
know. And
me and
so
Dean
you
Cameron
were
and a
my
bunch of other
you were
guys.
my yeah, you were my North Star moving to LA because it was such a weird place. And I was so grateful to have met somebody who was grounded as you are because I heard so many horror stories about, people in LA and you were not that. And we hung out a lot. We
Yeah.
were friends. We were friends. We could still be friends.
No reason we can't be. It's just
You know
life.
what?
We had a little life
Distance
in
and
between
time.
there. Yeah.
Well, there were
So,
no
okay. So
kids then. Okay, go on, go
there were
on.
no kids. Yeah.
Yeah, there were no kids. Yeah.
Give me the story of how you get to be on Hope and Gloria with, like, how does a guy from New York, because I remember your big speech. It's like you're describing a big uh, screen TV. And it's like you're doing this big pixel by pixel speech, which I just thought was freaking hysterical.
Oh,
Um,
right, the Louis Utz speech. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Louis
The Louis
Utz.
Utz. Yeah. Um,
I'll stop talking. I'll let you explain yourself.
no, are you kidding? This is me catching up with you. Um, I just got out of the drama school. That was 1993, and I'd been doing some plays in New York. So I was living the life that I wanted to live.
Hmm.
Uh, but I learned really quick that I could barely make ends meet doing plays in New York. It was just like, how the fuck am I going to do this? I had student loans, and then I got an episode of NYPD Blue where I played Peter Boyle's schizophrenic son, and that brought me to LA. That was the first time I
Wow.
went there. I started working with Peter Boyle, started working with Dennis Franz and all those guys,
Isn't
and
that funny? Hollywood is so like you're cast in New York and you have to go to LA to shoot
yeah,
NYPD Blue.
yeah, 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 yeah. It was really, and yeah, and it was like it was all a new world to me. We were filming exteriors in New York, and then they needed me to be in LA for another episode. And while I was there, I auditioned for Hope and Gloria while I was there, and I'll never forget it. I'm in the room, and I had a string of like bad auditions, just like people just like going. And then I got in with the Steinkellners, and I just sort of read it, and they were, and Bill Steinkellner's laugh, right? You could still hear
You
it in the
can literally
background on
hear it on
Cheers. Yeah,
Cheers.
on
Yeah.
Cheers. The greatest laugh in the world. I didn't know him. I thought he was making fun of me. I go, I'm gonna fucking get out of this room. I'm gonna walk away. This motherfucker is laughing at me. I'm not doing anything. There's nothing funny about what I'm doing. And this guy just thought it was hysterical. Next thing you know, I'm fucking meeting Les Moonves and we're like testing. And it was just like, oh man, we did the pilot, then the pilot got picked up, and it's just like, okay, I'm Louis
Yeah.
Utz. Cynthia Stevenson was great, and it was like Alan Thicke was on board. He didn't know it was Canadian. Actually, it was who was the original one? It wasn't Alan Thicke, Patrick.
Lyle Wagner.
Lyle Wagner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we were both in the pilot, and there was
Uh-huh.
like a bigger team of people in the pilot. But then you came back when we got picked up later on. But it was the pilot that was sort of like, okay, this is weird. Um, and that was it. I went back to New York, and they said, well, you know, they're gonna do, I don't know, 9 or 13 more. It was like, oh, I felt like a job. I came back to do it. I remember the craft service too. It was just like, it's not very good. It was just like, I'd just been on NYPD Blue, and they had like an encyclopedia of cereals. There's like
Right.
just different kinds of cereals. It was like, wow, and bagels and lox and cream cheese. It's like, what is this place? And I'm still starving. I'm still that starving kid in New York. It's like, I
Right.
just ate everything I could. And then we got to Hope and Gloria, and maybe there was like some brown rice or something. And I remember Alan Thicke just like, salting his melon. I go, what the fuck is that? He's salting. It's like, it was just the craziest place to sort of land. And then Alan realized that I was Canadian, because up until then he was just sort of aloof and very Alan Thicke. And then he and then
Uh-huh.
he realized I was Canadian. He goes, Rico, my boy, and he literally opened up his arms, and he says, "We're going to play hockey together." And he got me. He got me to. We got skates and gloves, and he just brought me back on the ice. He became my dearest, dearest friend on that show. But you were, but
Wow.
you, it was short lived for you and I, though, Patrick. Do you recall? Because I
Yeah.
remember the pilot. You played
I played Alan Thicke's son. I don't remember the character's name.
Lyle Wagner's son. Yeah. Oh, and then,
Yeah.
but did he get recast while we were
Yes, that's what I'm
in the
saying.
pilot?
Here's the most traumatic for me. So first of all, a little insider tip: you can always tell what the budget or what people what you can always tell how much the producers and network love your show by what the craft service is. We were a pilot, so no one had any belief in us yet. So the craft service was very small. When you're a big hit, you get those big craft service tables. When you start seeing your craft service table on a long running show get smaller and smaller until finally it's
Oh,
down to
you're in
like
trouble.
individual waters, you know you're getting canceled. And
You're
that's
in
just a
trouble.
fact.
That's what happened. No, that's what happened. But
Yeah.
what happened? Do you recall the situation
Oh
there?
my God.
Because
This is like one of my most traumatic, like Hollywood stories ever. And I'll try to make it short, but I want to tell you. So I get a call on Thursday saying, can you come in and read for this guest part or this part on Hope and Gloria? And so I get the sides, and the sides are I'm like the goofball son of Lyle Wagner, who then became
Alan Thicke, Dennis
Alan
Dupree,
Thicke.
but his
Dennis Dupree.
character's name
So
was
I'm
Dennis
Dennis
Dupree. Yeah.
Dupree's, yeah, Dennis Dupree's son, and I'm just like a major screw up. And it was like Lyle Wagner was playing Dennis Dupree. There was another son of Dennis Dupree, like a smart guy brother and a dumb brother. That was the whole setup. So we do our first read through on Monday at the studio, and they go, okay, take a lunch. And then we went to lunch. We came back from lunch, and they go, you know what? We're just going to take a little bit longer break. Why don't you guys go home? I'm like, oh. So then Tuesday we come in, and my smarter older brother is now gone. He's not on the show anymore. I don't know if you remember that, but like they got rid of a character, and I'm like, wait a minute, they can do that? They can get rid of a character? And then on Tuesday, I was walking by Lyle Wagner's trailer, and he's like got like a little box with a cactus and like a picture, and
No,
I'm like going, what the hell's going on? He goes, oh.
no.
And I go, where are you going? He goes, I guess they didn't really get what they wanted. And I go, dude, that sucks. And he points up to the trailer and he goes, don't worry, I'll be fine. And he leaves.
Right,
I
right,
didn't know
right.
at the time that Lyle
He owns
Wagner was
he owns all
Star
those
Wagons.
yeah,
Yeah,
the Star Wagon. Yeah.
he owns all the Star Wagons. So he's fine. So the next day, Dennis Dupree is now Alan
Alan
Thicke.
Thicke.
So we do the taping. Taping goes well, and then they take it. And obviously, when you got the phone call, hey, we're going for another couple episodes, and they picked up the show. I got the call saying, good news, bad news. They picked up the show, and the bad news but they're not picking up your character. But yeah, it was the most traumatic experience where it was like, I didn't know. So, and I don't know how much of that obviously you were aware that they recast.
I remember I remember the the shift in energy, and I remember even throughout in the next 34 episodes, there was always a little tension between Jessica Lundy and the Steinkellners. You know what I mean? It's just like it was. So it always felt like it was just a little weird, and how the Steinkellners, next thing you know, they're not running the show anymore. It was Janet and Mimi, had new showrunners.
Uh-huh.
To me, it was just sort of like, oh, this is how they do things here. You know what I mean? They just,
Right. You had no
I
base
had no
comparison.
reference for it. People got fired and let go all the time. It's just like, am I going to be next? I had no idea. I had no idea. Of course, I remember feeling that. It's just, but I don't remember the detail of all that stuff. But now that that it's all coming back to me. That's exactly, it happened so fast.
Yeah,
It
it was,
happened
I mean,
so
it was
fast.
obviously, if you, and again, we were going out looking for apartments during that week, trying to figure out a place for you to stay, or not even then because you didn't know if you were staying, but it
Yeah,
was like
no,
we
no,
were
it's coming
hanging out,
back.
we were
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
lunch together.
yeah, yeah.
Also, tell me, did you have any, the geography of Hollywood is really weird, and the geography of Warner Brothers is very specific. There was Hope and Gloria, and then across the street was Friends and ER, which were at their height at that point. Did you ever play any of the basketball with the guys there? Did you ever
No,
interact with any of the other sets
no. I
or
just saw them at the
no?
gym, at the Warner Brothers gym. I'd see them all the time.
Right.
Yeah, they'd
So,
be on the
okay, getting
treadmill and
back
stuff.
to Rico, which is kind of like the idea of this whole thing.
Yeah.
So you're in this Hollywood experience with Hope and Gloria.
Yeah,
You're a theater actor, so I would imagine you're liking the sitcom format. What was your
loved it.
experience doing the show?
Loved it. It was like, it felt like the cabaret. It felt like fast, making choices and just hitting the ground running. And then the
Yeah.
live audience, and then it was exhilarating. I loved it. And then we didn't know if we were coming back, and I did the pilot for Just Shoot Me right around the same time. One got canceled. So it was just sort of like the first 8 years of my life in Hollywood were in front of a studio audience. And it felt, I miss it. Oh my God. If I if I
Yeah.
if I knew then what I know now, I would just be, live in gratitude. Because, I took myself way too serious, right? It's just like, okay, can I do some dramatic stuff now? Can I do some movies? Can I do something else? I was like, no, that was probably the best time of my life, It's just like outside of theater school. It was just
Uh-huh.
a job to go to, and every week was different, and there were people coming in. It felt like the theater in LA. And it was like, and when that stopped, it was sort of like, oh, then it just became about the money, you know? And
Right.
maybe people were watching it or not, but I never had a sense. I never had a sense with the sitcom because people would, I mean, there was just
Yeah.
the experience was always on a Friday night, the
Yep.
experience, the culmination of all of it came on a Friday night, and you got to play, and you went home happy and satisfied. And then, 12, 14-hour days in single camera world was just like, when does a reward
It's
come? When does a reward come? When does
It
that
never
feeling?
does.
It
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't. We'll be back after these messages. Have you ever thought about becoming an actor and making your friends and family jealous? Well, have I got a deal for you. Here at Working Actors School, we offer many different classes so you can become a famous actor like me. And we have a delightful selection of classes, including Adult Weekly. It's every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Here you will learn how to be an actor with other adults. How do we do it? How is it possible? Is it a miracle? Yes, it is. It's a miracle called Zoom. We teach everything online so you can become a famous actor and impress your friends and family. So if you want to be a famous actor and make your friends and family jealous, then you need to sign up at Working Actors School. You can get a hold of us at workingactorschool.com. You can sign up for classes at workingactorschool.com. You can make a reservation for the class online at workingactorschool.com. So come check us out. It's workingactorschool.com. Act 2. Success. I'm with you. My favorite format is sitcom for that exact reason. Monday table read, Friday show. You've got a band, you've got an audience, you've got
Yeah.
all this stuff. Were you Monday, Friday on Just
It was
Shoot
an
Me?
event. It was like,
Yeah.
George Siegel was like the best example for me because, you know, he was like a movie star, and suddenly he's doing a sitcom, and he's going, these are like bank hours. He would come in every day. This is great. He'd show up at 10 o'clock, have his bagel and lox for breakfast, eat with his mouth open. You know what I mean? And we'd do the scene. He'd be home and taking a nap by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was like,
Yeah.
And it's like you look at it through his eyes, you kind of go, "Oh, this is a good gig." But I was still too young to know better. A sitcom now
Yeah,
would be,
wasn't he in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I mean, he kind of
oh, buddy, an
knows the whole
Academy Award
experience.
winner, King
Yeah,
Rat. I mean,
yeah.
in the '70s, he was like an A-list movie star. He was like the
Yeah.
comedy leading man. He was, and then, years later, he's on a sitcom and it doing very well for him, but he just loved it, loved the hours, loved the camaraderie, loved the community, loved all of it. I was like, oh yeah, there's something
How
wonderful
did
about
how
this.
did Just Shoot Me compare with Hope and Gloria? Did you see a difference as far as the way it was run and go, oh, this is different?
Only longevity,
Yeah.
and the numbers were better on Just Shoot Me. But I thought Hope and Gloria was, what's the word? Ostentatious. You know what I mean? It was brave.
Oh,
It was,
interesting.
I mean, it was just like, I mean, Taylor Negron, Alan Thicke, these were crazy off the wall characters that was
Yeah.
just so much fun. I thought Hope and Gloria was a great, great show that just didn't, it didn't find the audience. Just Shoot Me. I'm sure David Spade had a lot to do with it and his recognizability and stuff. But we did really well. It just did numbers that Hope and Gloria only dreamed of, but even then, by season 5, 6, and 7, people started changing. Warren Littlefield was gone. Other people started coming in. They didn't know how they felt about it, and they kept fucking moving it. They just kept moving
Yeah,
it.
you had the deficit and benefit of you always produced a certain number, so
Yeah,
they felt that they could move you,
yeah,
that you
yeah,
didn't need protection.
yeah,
But then again, you're just a pawn piece that you weren't getting any special treatment.
yeah.
It's
That's
like
what it felt
you
like.
had a very standard craft
Yeah,
service table. It
yeah.
wasn't like steak and lobster.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But what was
they
funny? Here's the funny part. Will and Grace was right across the street from us at CBS Radford.
uh-huh.
And one day they got their Porsches, the famous Porsches. You hear that
Oh
story?
right.
They did so
Yeah,
well, they
yeah,
all
where
got Boxster Porsches. Well, the same
yeah.
day NBC got us a coffee truck, and so we we had the coffee truck. They got the Porsches, and that was pretty much. And I remember in the beginning, they were like, a freshman show. We were getting, good luck, guys. We wish you the best. And it was that boom. It just like catapulted over us. And we were just sort of like, yeah, fuck them.
But I gotta say, let's just sit here and talk about it for a minute because like I said, I was a big fan of Just Shoot Me for a lot of reasons. Spade's one of them, but casting Laura as the lead in a comedy coming out of her independent movie career, having no idea that she'd be as good as she
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
they had you, and I think that the idea of having two dramatically inclined actors be in comedy, which if you don't understand, comedy is harder to me than drama for a number of reasons. So the better dramatic actor you are, the better comedian I think that you can be. But definitely, the better comedian you are, the better dramatic. It's a
Yeah. No,
one
I get it.
provides something that the other doesn't. But then you also have Wendy Malick, who I don't know much about her, but oh my God, so just like a killer's row of all of
Yeah.
these actors, and then Brian Posehn and all these other character guys that you would have come on.
Yeah.
Um, Donnie
Yeah.
is my favorite episode. I'm sure it's a lot of
Well,
people's favorite
yeah, of
episode,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's only funnier because of your performance in the episode. David Cross comes in and plays this guy who is pretending to be retarded. He fell out of a tree and he's your brother.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
between you, Peter Boyle, and David, it's like, God, you really good casting on all three of those. But
Yeah.
the relationship that you have with him sells how sad and funny everything Cross does later on in the episode.
Yeah.
And that's the dramatic part because there's no laugh lines with you.
Yeah, but
It's like,
Patrick, let's give credit where credit is due, right? Right, writing is everything, isn't it? And
yeah,
we and
yeah,
we and we weren't allowed to. Well, we weren't encouraged to change anything. That was one of the reasons Spade had so much fun on Just Shoot Me. He didn't have to improvise. He didn't have to write anything. He didn't have to do anything. the writing was all on the page. We had so much fun just relying on the writers, and they were doing all the heavy lifting. And it wasn't far from the truth with Hope and Gloria, but I think Hope and Gloria, they were just having more fun. Hope and Glory, they were having way so much, like George McGrath, writers like that,
Yeah.
Jerry Persigian. It was just like it was just like Mimi and Jeanette. They were just being goofy and just wanting to be goofy. Just Shoot Me had Steve Levitan, and he's like a great captain of a ship. He knew what he wanted. It was
He later
clear.
on went to do like Modern Family, if you don't
Modern
know the name,
Family,
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But he was a great captain of that ship because tonally he knew what he wanted, and he might have been a little
Right.
bristly with some people, but he knew what he wanted. Hope and Gloria was like, oh, we just lost a showrunner, we lost this, we don't know what it is, what is this show really is, it is about friends, it is about Dennis, it is about that. When you don't know what it is and you're sort of just figuring it out, but Just Shoot Me, like, hit the ground, this is what this show is, let's go. And that makes all the difference in the world.
If they brought back one of the shows, which one would you want to do?
Hope and Gloria.
Okay, cool.
100%, man.
It's
I'm
so
telling you,
exciting to hear
it was
that.
wacky. It was just wacky. It was just wacky. It was just like
There's a lot of
ridiculous.
times when, like, when you're, what is it, being completely fucked gives you a lot of freedom. And I think at some
Yeah,
point when
yeah,
you're the
yeah,
person that's not getting paid attention to, you go,
yeah,
well, fuck it. They don't
yeah,
care.
yeah.
Let's try
No,
this.
you're right.
Yeah.
It was like, it was job security, I guess, and if you can have it on a TV show. But it was just like, I can be, I can be goofy and silly, and it's perfect. Louis Utz, what a great name, Louis Utz. You're such an
Yep.
Utz. You're such an Utz. It's
And
like,
again,
would you
I would
want to
have
play a
loved to have
game?
been on the show, but I think what they did, which was smart, is they took the two characters of the sons and gave all of those that story or plot to Dennis. Like he didn't
To
need to
Dennis, yeah.
split up.
Dennis was the,
Like
yeah, he was,
Dennis
yeah, he
became
was
the
the,
crazy
yeah,
kid.
yeah,
He
he was a
became,
crazy kid. Yeah,
that actor that's just enamored with
yeah,
himself,
that's
or
very true.
host, I
And
guess.
Cynthia was like, the enabler and the
Right.
manager, Cynthia Stevenson, who played Hope. Yeah, she was the
Again,
station
another
manager.
great indie actor from the 90s that ended up in a sitcom where it's like, yeah, I can see a lot of the choices at that time were,
Yeah,
I think they were making good choices, at
yeah.
least
Well, she had
over
started on
the other
Cheers.
shows.
Remember that? She was like beloved on Cheers. She played the character that was in love with Norm.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then she did a show with the Steinkelners called Bob. It was like Bob Newhart's show
Okay.
before Newhart.
Wow.
So
Well, I mean, she was super talented and very nice. Very,
yeah,
very
she was
nice.
sweet as sweet.
So, okay, I get kind of
Canadian,
confused.
Canadian. Yeah, anyway, just thought I'd throw it
Oh,
out there.
Canadian. There you go. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
Canadian
that
mafia.
explains everything. That explains
Of
everything.
course. So I get confused if Just
Yeah.
Shoot Me was before Galaxy Quest or it was after, or was it because
Yeah, well,
the way they
it
shoot
was like
things?
it was like a lot of fun stuff happening while I was doing Just Shoot Me. Those
Oh,
long
wow.
hiatus months, just yeah, Galaxy Quest. Stigmata was in one year. I did Stigmata
Uh
that
huh.
one year, and then it was Galaxy Quest in 1999, and then in 2000 there was like a couple other movies, and I got to work with Soderbergh a couple of times. There was just like a lot of fun was happening while I had this full-time job to go do some fun stuff during the summer months. It was like, and Galaxy Quest was 1999. It was 1999.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about Galaxy Quest because it's a huge, I hate to say cult film, but I mean, it just keeps growing as far as popularity. I loved your performance in this. To this day, when I showed you a picture of my son, when I see him, he gets taller. And in my head, I don't say it out loud, but in my head, I say, Laredo, my, how you have grown. And it's from, I mean, obviously, I'm quoting you. Um, so,
Young Laredo.
what I've heard that you're the one that came up with the speech patterns for the aliens. How was
Yeah.
that? How did that all work out with Galaxy Quest, and how do you get into that project? Because
Yeah. It
it's
was
a
like,
wonderful film.
just shoot me. I get the script. I gotta go dance. And Bonnie Zane was casting it, and I'd known her a little bit. Dean Parisot was directing it. I knew him a little bit, so it felt if you re-meet somebody in an audition room, you feel a little more comfortable, right? You know that
Yeah.
feeling. It's just like, oh, we met on so and so. It's just like very nice. Blah, 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 blah. So it was that was just it. It was just like I did it once, and then I remember going, before I go, can I just try something? And that's when I did this vocal exercise that we used to do at the drama school, just like sort of touching all the resonators. You take a speech and you go through it all just to tap into all the resonators. So it's like, oh, let me hear, find out where we are. It's just like that with what. Sometimes you'd stay up there, just like, you bring it down here, just like that you are last hope. And that was it. It was just me being goofy.
Uh-huh.
It's like, I don't know, Patrick. I don't know when people say, well, how did you prepare that role? When I get those questions, I go, dude, I don't know. I'm just playing.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just,
Look,
I'm just,
some
I'm just
actors
playing.
absolutely have a set like thing that they go through. But I'm with you as far as there's a vibe, there's a feel when you look at, a script, I picture who this guy is and then I play that guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of
Yeah.
like it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense in your own head.
Yeah.
Um
And he's an
what
alien, right? So it's like, well, I can't go do the method actor thing. I don't know any aliens. I don't know what aliens go through.
right.
So I figure anything goes. I'm an alien, and you can't say that an alien wouldn't behave this way. There was a little cone heads. It was a little Jehovah's Witness, knocking on your door on a Sunday morning, trying to convert you, give you a little pamphlet. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I was working with. It's just like, okay, yeah, it was
Now you've
fun.
worked, like I was saying. I mean, and we'll go through all of this stuff, but you've worked with a lot
Oh,
of,
geez, do we have to?
wonderful people. What's that? Yeah, no, yeah, of
We
course
have
you do.
to.
This is your penance for being such a successful actor.
Okay.
When you're working with an Alan Rickman or
Oh,
Sigourney Weaver,
yeah,
one of the things I think of, and then I want to hear what your point is, but again, like once you're past the gatekeepers, once you're on a set, for the most part, other actors are okay. They're pretty chill because they're in their environment. That's what they enjoy doing. I don't know these people. I don't know any stories about these people. What was it like to work? Because you've worked with a lot of famous people, but a lot of famously good people. And I mean, everyone from Tony Shalhoub, and just the Murderer's Row and Galaxy Quest, all these great actors. What was your experience with the other actors on the show?
um, I think they had the benefit of seeing me as a wackadoo. And I mean that in the best way. Because when we had our first table read, I brought Mathesar. You know what I mean? And that was the first time everybody heard it and felt it. And it was
Uh-huh.
just sort of like, you know what I mean? It was just, it wasn't on the page. It's just
Right.
something that I brought, and I brought it to, and everybody was sort of like, oh. So they were all respectful and kind, considerate. Alan
Rickman.
became a friend, you know, that,
Yeah.
that in all the years it's happened. I count one other person. I won't name her. Oh, and Alan Rickman, you know what I mean? That just sort of like you ended up having dinner with them. That kind of friend is just like,
Wow.
oh, I'm in town. Oh, Alan, I'm in London. Do you have time? Of course, I'll bring you. I was like, here I'm getting. Alan Rickman is taking me through London. You know what I mean? It's just like that was the kind of man he was.
Wow.
Sigourney, I realized after the fact that she was like in it. She's so funny, but she's not like that. I just thought, oh, she's just. We talked about Yale a little bit, but she was, she had bad memories of Yale and stuff, so she didn't really want to talk about it that much. And but I didn't realize that she was Gwen. She was that character for the whole time. Um, and Tim was just off the wall nuts because he was just like he could, it was Sigourney who had to pull him away. If he had somebody laughing at his jokes in the corner, It was
Right.
Sigourney that would have to grab him. Come on, Tim, we got to go back to work now. Come on, Tim, come on, we got to go, we got to go. And it was the first time I had heard of, Sam Rockwell,
Right.
and what he
I think
brought
the
was
first
just
time for
like,
everybody.
well, the Green Mile hadn't come out yet, right? And it was like,
Okay.
oh my God. So, yeah, then Justin Long, Rainn Wilson was there with us, and just like
Yeah.
Missy Pyle, just like, and then there were a couple of people that nobody knew who they were, and they just went like that. Chill Mitchell, Daryl was is
Yeah, Daryl, we had Daryl on our show, See Dad Run. He's just a sweetheart.
he's a good man, but I'll tell
Yeah.
you, and again, I'll give credit where credit is due, and it's all Dean Pariseau. He
Okay. Yeah.
and of course the writing and the script. But Dean came late to the party. Harold Ramis was supposed to direct it with
Okay.
Kevin Kline. I don't know what
Wow.
happened. I wasn't a part of that. Next thing you know, Dean Pariseau is hired, and he's got like 6 weeks to prep this
Oh
seventy
my
million
God.
dollar movie. And they hired Tim Allen, and then it was all happened so fast. And I think Dean is the kind of director that just cast it well and just let us play. He
Right.
didn't, he didn't, he let us play. He let us play, he let us play. To the point where he was cutting it, he goes, I don't know if this is gonna be any good. We're doing ADR, and he had these like cheesy little things out. He goes, I don't know, is that funny? I was like, he captured lightning in a bottle, and
When you
just
look
like,
back on that, was because sometimes a bad experience turns out to be a great project, and vice versa. But
yeah,
it
no, we
sounds
were
like it
worried.
was.
We were
Oh,
worried
okay.
we
So
were
you didn't
having way
know.
too much fun. We're having a great time. What is it going to be any good? But we were
I'll
having
ask
the
this
best
now
time.
because I'm curious and I won't wait. Did you do the episode of Monk to work with Tony again, or was that just a coincidence?
I had auditioned for that so many times after Galaxy Quest. I wanted to play, John Turturro got the role that I wanted, who's playing like some recluse.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then after I had auditioned for that, I think they said, "Hey, come and do this role."
Yeah.
I was just no, Tony's great. I remember, I mean, I was in New York before I'd even gone to the drama school, and I was at the classical stage company watching a play called Rameau's Nephew. And Shalhoub was in it, and he was a young guy before Wings, before anything. He was just like, and I was looking at his resume, and I go, "This fucking guy is so good. He went to the Yale School of Drama." Go, I want to go
That's where
there.
you got it from?
Yeah, I want to go there because
Wow.
that guy was just so good. He was just a two-hander, and he was so good. Yeah,
Well,
Shalhoub is just
if you've watched,
he's
I mean,
great.
you've
He's
seen
great.
it, but
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Galaxy Quest. There's a thing he does where he's like playing a Asian guy, Techmaster Chen, which is like the most horribly racist, hysterical character choice ever. And I don't
Can't
know
do
where
it
it comes
now.
from, but can't
Can't
do
do
it
it
now.
now.
But it was perfect then, where he even like squints his eyes, and he had such a great vibe for the whole thing. And again, going back to like, you are playing ostensibly the craziest of the characters, but you're the straight man because
Yeah,
there's no irony in your character. You
yeah, yeah,
cannot,
yeah.
you don't understand, you're not in on any joke.
No.
That's the great part of what you're doing. So you have to be immensely believable
Here's
while
what I
you're
love about
doing this craziness.
I'm gonna get you off track. I want to stick to
Yeah.
Tony for a minute.
Yeah, of course.
So here's a wonderful actor. I admire this actor. Brilliant. It's a brilliant actor. And the all in the beginning he goes, "Oh fuck, I don't have a character. I don't know what I'm doing." It's like, what am I doing? It's like, I don't know. He just looks at me. You've got a character. He's got a character. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's that, and then he found that leaky paper bag. And he
The thing
carried
he
that
brings on to
greasy,
space adventures.
the greasy bag. You don't know what's in there, but he found his character in that fucking bag. I go, he's genius. Oh, he's genius. Tony Shalhoub is genius. Is genius. Anyway, yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go. Yeah, Mathesar was a straight guy for sure. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I cry every time I watch him when he finds out that it's all just lies, and
Yeah.
it gets to your talent for sure, but also, I mean, obviously, like you say, I mean, when you put together a film, there's so many things that they can ruin a great performance and they can enhance a great performance, or they can enhance a horrible performance. It's like there's so many angles to it, but this movie came out great.
Nobody saw it, Patrick. Remember,
Yeah,
we
I get
competed
it.
with Stuart Little. Nobody
Wow.
saw it.
But when did you know that it was a thing, Lynn? When that it survived and it became like, because they've done whole other documentary movies about it now.
I don't know. When people kept talking about it, they
Yeah.
still kept talking about it. The
Do you
word
do
of
the
mouth.
conventions at all? Like literally
I
going
had
and
done
doing.
one. I had done
Uh-huh.
one. I had done one with the panel of Missy and Judd Reese and Chill. Um, yeah, and then when you're in an audience and they go, it's the best Star Trek movie. It's like, oh wow.
Agreed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it did never even thought. And then when you started hearing word of mouth is like, like Patrick Stewart went to see it and brought the whole cast, of Next Generation to go see it. They just loved it. It was just like, oh wow. The word, and that was the first time. This is like the word of mouth on that film. There's like people inside Hollywood were just saying, "This is the fucking funniest movie ever. How did we not come?" And then but you realize it was just misidentities, like Gillian's. It was just like it wasn't an original idea per se. We just
Right.
found a very original way to say that very mistaken identity story, that trope of you
Oh,
know
sure.
it's like
Well,
ants.
and
Ants
like
was
and
like
like you
that
say,
too. You know what I mean? It was just like,
right.
oh, but they're actors, but they're not. You know what I mean? They're just like, no, they're the real people, but they're so. It's just like it's a cliche. But
Right.
we did something with it that made it just go boom. It was like
But I think
lightning in a
we've
bottle.
talked about a couple of the details like Shaloub and you and the thing that's crazy to me, they call him Kevin Decline. That's his nickname, and because he just doesn't do movies, and he's one of my favorite actors of all time. But to go from Kevin Kline to Tim Allen, I can't imagine the leap of faith that took. But I got a question that, I mean, it's not fair to ask you, but I'm going to ask it anyways. With a guy like Alan Rickman playing an actor who's playing in makeup, and you have an actor like Alan Rickman playing in makeup, but it's like so mirror, 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 mirror on a mirror. Was there any meta qualities that was he at all dealing with the same issues that his character was? It's like, what am I doing here?
I I mean, he'll deny it. I mean,
Uh,
God bless his soul, but
yeah,
he would deny it because he had a thing with Tim. He didn't quite understand the Tim Allen thing.
right.
You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
Tim Allen is just like yes or no. You know what I mean? And so I remember there were moments early on. Tim's just like cracking up, and it's just like, and I looked at Alan. He goes, "Ugh." He was just like, "Oh, brother," it's just like, oh, and I, But eventually, the way he tells the story is that he realized how uniquely it was to Tim's process. In order for Tim to really feel like he was getting in a place of performance, he needed to rev up that way.
Right.
And Alan came to understanding that. And he became very understanding and appreciative of Tim's work. So I was witness to the beginnings and the ends of that, and watching Alan Rickman sort of go, oh boy, to like, all right, here we go. This is lovely.
I would imagine a guy like Tim who's used to understanding, again, his big success, stand up and Home Improvement, had an audience that he needs that feedback that you don't have on the set. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't laugh when the
yeah,
cameras are rolling.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that he might have connected with him on that. When you talk about process, you say that you just like to go in and play, and I get that. Have you worked with people where their process is so cumbersome that it just gets in your way? I don't need any names. I don't want you to out anybody, but have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, no, it doesn't usually happen on television,
Yeah.
There's no time for it on television. I don't, hear stories about Succession and stuff, but I don't know
Yeah.
how much time you have to go through all that stuff. You just barely get your lines 2 days
Right.
earlier, and I barely know my words. What am I going to do? Like, I can't do much of anything else. So no, I haven't. Film wise, no. Even no, even no. And maybe Nicky Cat. Remember Nicky Cat? We
I
did
remember.
full front.
Yeah.
We did Full Frontal together, and he was like an intense dude. He was like really, really intense. It was just like, oh, all right, okay, cool, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah. You just sort of
but
let
not
them
but
be.
not to the point of like he's impossible to work with. He just brought that.
Right.
I bring this, and then we roll, and I go, and then I come back, and I'm Rico, and then I drop Rico, and then you know what I mean. I don't sit there and just think I'm Mathesar. I have to walk like this all the time. It was like just like
I
Rico, and
did
then
that. I
I'm
did
not.
that once. I played this autistic kid or on the spectrum on this old West show. And I did a couple episodes, and on the first episode, I literally didn't bring a book. I didn't do anything. I just played in the dirt with a stick because I figured that's what this kid would do, thinking that would, feed its way into it.
What happened?
Didn't really
It
change any
did.
of the
It did.
things. Yeah. So it's like, I gave that up quickly.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Couple
right, right.
quick things here. So, you were in, you did AI with Steven Spielberg. Was that a
Yeah.
big experience to be in the room? And I would just imagine watching him work would be kind of
Well, I
cool,
remember
but
the
I don't
first time
know.
I'd met him was on Galaxy Quest.
Right, because DreamWorks is his company and
Yeah.
they're the
Oh.
producers. Yeah.
So I'm sitting down like this, right, looking on the floor, dressed as Mathesar, waiting to go on, just like that. And these 2 feet just come right up to me. And I look up, and he's not as big as I thought he would be. And had a cigar in his mouth. He goes, "Where'd you come up with that thing? Where'd you come up with that guy?" But I don't know, and just like, yeah, it was great. It was great. It was just like, I think he might have patted me on the shoulder and walked away. A year
Wow.
later, a year later, I got a call saying he wants me to be an AI. And I go, oh, it must remember me from Galaxy Quest. That's nice. So it's
Yeah.
like one day's work, me and Jude Law. I come in, and it was one take, and it was just like, oof, it was just one take. And he wasn't talking to me. And then there was a moment we met, blah, 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 and then he goes, oh, then he remembered who I was. And for the rest of the night, till like 4 o'clock in the morning, he kept imitating Mathesar, like off camera. Just kept imitating Mathesar off camera. And then it was like, it was you remember, it was like Kubrick's film that he wanted to do. So he
Yeah.
literally, at 3 o'clock in the morning, we had done the take 30 times. And I go, it was like just one take, just boom, boom. Janusz Kaminski in the corner,
Oh
just
my God.
following me in. And then reveal, dead, 30 fucking times. It was just like I was beat. It was just like, you hate me. But then I realized, so there was a Friday night, and there was like $5 Friday, and he had me pick the $5, and I picked it
Uh-huh.
up, and he says this to me, Patrick. He goes, it's a little role now, but the roles will just get bigger. He looked at me. This is Steven
Wow.
Spielberg
That's a
promising
big
me.
moment.
That's a big moment that never came to
Yeah.
fruition, bro. It's like, if anybody doesn't need to bullshit a young actor, it's Steven Spielberg. Here he is making the false promise. It's like, you're Steven Spielberg. Why would you do that to a young actor like that? It's like, oh, they're just gonna get bigger. It's like, I want to run into him one day and say, oh,
Hey, last time I saw you, you produced 50
you
films
promised
since
me,
then.
you
How about
promised me a
throwing
lot of
bone?
roles. That was like 20 movies ago. Oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh, they'll just get bigger. Thanks, Mr.
Well,
Spielberg.
it's not like you didn't work. You've worked a ton.
No,
You
no,
did,
no. But I mean,
but
you
still,
know,
I get it. No, I get it.
when a guy
Spielberg,
like
you
that is
feel like you're
saying, you know,
anointed. Yeah,
it's like, okay, the next
yeah,
movie I'm in, you're going to be in. I'm going to get a little role.
yeah. Because there's so many examples of people that have a director buddy who they use them in every role, and it's like,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, just put me
yeah,
in something.
yeah, yeah,
You did Contagion though with Soderbergh,
yeah.
um, which must have seemed like a fine film when you did it, but then the pandemic comes around, and then does that feed back on you at all in your own head, like that? Like,
Residuals, Patrick. Residuals. It was like that movie didn't make. I mean, it made money and a big stuff, but then the pandemic happened. It's just like, oh my god, I made more in residuals than they paid me to do the fucking thing. It was
it's
like
like the
watching
best
It's a
actor
Wonderful Life
answer
at
ever.
Christmas time. It's like everybody was locked down. Let's watch a movie about a pandemic. Perfect idea. It's like Bafo numbers. It's like, oh my God, thank you, pandemic, for watching Contagion. No, but there's a guy who hired me in Full Frontal, then brought me into Contagion. Then there was another movie he was produced, he brought me into, and then another movie that I couldn't do. So he's been good to me, you know, 4 and 5 times, you know.
We'll be back after these messages. Hey there, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I've been an actor since I was a little kid, so I know what it's like to be a little kid actor. So I have a class here called Youth Weekly, and that meets every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and it is an awesome class if you are young and want to learn all about acting. We have a great set of kids, and it's taught on Zoom, so you can do it from anywhere. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, on an iPad. It's awesome. I've had kids take a class while they were in the car coming back from soccer practice. I swear to you. So if acting is in your blood, come to workingactorschool.com and check out the Youth Weekly class every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you there. Act 3, present day. Let's talk about Veronica Mars for a minute. I did not understand Veronica Mars because I think I was working and I didn't catch on to it until a couple of years ago, and then I watched all of them. Rob Thomas is the guy who created it. What was your experience on Veronica Mars? It's this, like, I don't know, was it UPN? And it was
Yeah,
Kristen Bell and like
it
a
was a
kind of
UPN,
detective
first of
show, and
all.
you play your
Yep.
dad, you're a detective, and she helps you
Yep.
out. Um, I just found it to be so addictive. Just such a good show. When I started watching it,
Yeah.
I couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah.
What was your experience on that? And I mean, obviously not a sitcom. This is one of those shows where you might have worked 1 or 2 days on the schedule when you were working. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
how do you like that show?
That was great. The Again, you know, Rob Thomas was a strong captain for that ship. Tonally, you knew what it was. You knew what was expected of you, and you're right. Maybe I worked 2 or 3 days every episode. It was cush. It was a great job. It was in San Diego, and it
Yep.
was a single camera world, and it was a dramatic role, and I got to finally step away from the comedy and really just do something a little more dramatic. I thought I took myself a little too serious in that in the beginning. It was sort of like, you know, just trying to hit it over the head a little more.
Right.
Um, but Kristen Bell and I developed a beautiful sort of relationship and a chemistry. Uh, Rob Thomas, Dan Etheridge, who was like one of the executive producers and the writer. It was just again, we felt like we were an underdog show. We stuck together because of that, you
Right.
know. And then it was the fan base that reminded us how beloved we were. It was like
What do they call them?
they
Marshmallows?
the marshmallows, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, then the CW happened in the second year.
Right.
Uh, and we were always on I was just like, who's watching? Who's watching? But the same 3 million people were watching it every week, you know. And those
Yeah.
hardcore fans kept us there for a third season. And I think it went amok when she went to college because it worked really well in high school. But as she
Right.
got older, it got a little more complicated and stuff. It was still the same smart show. And then how
Yeah, but
many
it's one
years
of those
later?
shows that it's like it won't die. Then they fan funded some other film,
Yeah,
and then they
we
got
did the
another
movie,
movie, and then it came
and we
back
did
on
a fourth
Hulu.
season on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And you had
yeah.
Tessa Thompson on the show. You had a lot of young actors that would end up doing a lot of stuff
Lot
later.
of a lot of up and coming actors. It was just, and the
Now,
critics
when
loved it. The critics loved it. Hollywood loved it. Writers in Hollywood loved it. The people that I thought were the smart people watching TV loved that show, you know?
right, I would say that it had the same type of cred as a Buffy, the
Yeah,
Vampire Slayer, where people
yeah,
really appreciated what was
yeah,
being done, and it
yeah,
was a good looking show. And like you said, they shot it in like San Diego or the San Diego area. So you're
yeah,
living here, you're driving down and just staying at a hotel
yeah.
for the time you're
It was
there.
good.
Or,
It was 3 seasons. It's just like sometimes
yeah,
in a hotel, sometimes I'd rent an apartment and stuff. Um, yeah, it was the single camera world that I wanted. The schedule was a little more unpredictable. You didn't know what you were going to work. And you had 5 days off in a row, and you'd go somewhere. It was a great gig,
yeah,
and it was fun, and it was getting attention. You know, not like just shoot
right.
me, not from an audience perspective, but from professionals, from people who wanted to be on the
Oh,
show.
that's interesting. That is a
You
good
know,
distinction to
yeah,
make. That I was on Little House on the Prairie and I was on Jag, and both were, without a doubt, they were big hits. But no one in Los Angeles or New York ever
yeah.
watched it or cared about it.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
I
yeah.
could be invisible.
Yeah, there's a big
Yeah,
difference. There's a big difference when um heavyweight actors, writers want to come and do the show, you know. Who created Buffy again? You remember?
Joss Whedon.
He wanted to be on the show, you know what I mean?
Wow.
He came in, he wanted to be he made a cameo on the show. Um Silent Bob and what's his name?
Yeah,
Kevin
Kevin Smith. Uh huh.
Kevin Smith. He
Yeah.
wanted to be on the show. You know what I mean? It's just like, so you got that kind of tension and notoriety that sort of like, yeah, we might not be doing big numbers, but Hollywood loves us. Critics love us.
Right.
And that was a good feeling. That was a good feeling to have. And though Kristen never was nominated for an Emmy, she certainly deserved an Emmy for playing
Kristen's
that
got one of the
role.
most invisibly amazing careers. Not that she's
Yeah,
not famous, but I
yeah,
mean, to be the star of Frozen and have that voice and have
yeah.
that talent and, carrying a show, being number one on a show, it's such a difficult job because you've got to be immensely watchable and totally professional
Oh
and
my
never
God.
look tired. I don't know how they do that. I mean, we're
You
blessed
you
with being character
you
actors
would
where we
never
don't
have
need to
met
look
an
pretty.
actor with a higher learning curve than she had between season one and season two of Veronica Mars.
What do you mean? I mean, I get what you mean, but like,
She
what are you
developed
thinking of?
she developed Hollywood skin like within a season, knowing I'm tired, I know how to protect myself, I know what I need, bop, bop, bop. And she became such a pro
Wow,
and
that's
knew how to take
impressive.
care of herself, which is, so many actors don't know how to do that when they're number one or
Yeah.
number two on a call sheet. They get burned out, and she was magnificent. She knew how to take care of everybody and take care of herself. A remarkable human being, just remarkable.
Wow.
Could do the
That's
press, never get tired, but she knew how to say no, say no, say no. It was like she
Yeah,
was
you got to
great.
set
She was
boundaries. There
great.
was a
Yeah,
guy I
yeah,
used to love a show called Wise Guy, and there was a guy named
yeah,
Ken Wall who was a
yeah,
great actor, and he was great in
yeah,
the show, and you could just see him burn up, and he's no longer around because it's just like it just ate the
yeah,
industry ate him up.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I guess this is a good place to talk about this because unlike a lot of people, maybe Jay Baruchel, maybe I don't know, um, you're like you do a lot of work in Canada still. Usually, most of the time, person comes out of Canada, like David James Elliott from Jag. He was a Canadian or is a Canadian. Once he started working here, he had done like 3 series up there. Michael Fox had done a series. And once they do a series here in LA, that's kind of where they stay or in the States. But you've done Flashpoint, you did Remedy, you've done Allegiance, you've done all of these shows kind of going back and forth. Was there a plan for that or how does that happen where you just decide what's behind that, I guess?
I wanted to come home.
Yeah, that's a big
And
deal. Yeah, for
and
sure.
Flashpoint happened. It brought me home. It brought me home. I didn't know how I would manage it. It was sort of like it was not a good move for my kids, that's for sure. You know, and they were
Where
still
was
young.
Flashpoint? Was it Toronto or was it on the West
Toronto,
Coast?
Toronto,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Toronto
California to
brought me,
Toronto is really a big difference.
yeah, and it was cold, but it was a police show. My brother was a police officer.
Uh-huh.
It brought me home. It brought me home. I started running into old friends. I started reconnecting with old buddies. Just the people didn't realize I was Canadian, and just the feeling of being back in Toronto was just like, oh, it's time to come home. And right around the same time, I re-met an old friend and ended up marrying her. And it was just sort of like that really complicated everything.
Right.
Um, because, well, now where do I live? I live in fucking Canada. You know what I mean? So work
Yeah.
kept me in Canada. Uh,
What
English
would you
teacher,
say
English,
from your
yeah,
experience, what's the difference between shooting a show in Canada and the States?
money. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's about it.
Canadian shows rely on international markets, US networks. You know, they just don't have the money to do quality stuff. And Flashpoint started something because it had a license fee from CBS. So CBS would give it, I don't know, $1 million
Right.
an episode. And that allowed us to really make it
Because was it, I'm
cool
sorry,
looking.
CBC started Flashpoint and then
CTV,
there's
CTV,
CTV,
CTV.
City
Yeah,
TV. Okay. So,
CTV.
but at the same time, we were having a strike or something down here. So
Yeah,
CBS needed new programming.
yeah,
So they struck the deal so that Flashpoint was airing on CBS as well down
yeah,
here, but it was a
yeah.
fully Canadian produced show.
Yep, yep. And they made a lot of money just based on advertisement revenue because
Uh
we
huh.
were like a big hit for them on a Friday night.
Yeah.
In fact, I think most of the time we beat Friday Night Lights. You know what I mean? It was a big
Yeah.
deal, and then it became complicated because they didn't want to simulcast anymore. CTV wanted ownership of it, and it was just like, well, it became more complicated. They let it go. Um, yeah, it was interesting. We ended up doing 75 episodes over the course of 5 years, and
That's a lot.
it was a great show that took place in Canada, and it was a good procedural that made CBS very happy, and it was a procedural that was all about the communication police. It was like an alternative view of policing, in that there wasn't
Right.
a lot of shooting, there was a lot of negotiating, there was a lot of talking, there was a lot of heart and stuff, and which is very Canadian. And we're still very proud of it. We're still very proud of that show up here. But that kept me here. And then it was just
But
like,
did this, in
okay,
some way, did this lead to Person of Interest?
yeah, no, it didn't lead, but it happened right around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a call from Jonah Nolan, and it was just a phone call saying, "Hey, we want to come play." And I go, "Yeah, why wouldn't I? It's New York and stuff." And I was a big fan of Michael Emerson's, and Caviezel was a
I was
good
going to
guy.
say, I was a huge fan of Michael's, and the Nolans are just super, like,
Yeah,
another great showrunner, I would imagine.
yeah, yeah. Jonah wasn't there. Jonathan wasn't there. He was in LA most of the time, but the people that were running New York, but just to be in New York, Patrick, from Toronto to New York, it was just like, it was so great. And a role like Elias was just so much fun. Again, all
Yeah.
on the page. It was all on the page. I barely had time to memorize my lines.
Now, were you
Um,
commuting or were you
yeah, no,
like picking up?
commuting. Yeah, yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
had to
It's not that
schedule
bad.
around, they had to work around Remedy and Flashpoint. It crossed those two
Oh,
shows.
wow. So
So,
Remedy, another show, a medical show for,
yeah.
was this the CBC or CTV as well?
That was global. That was another Canadian show. It's actually
Okay.
on Prime in the
I don't know
United
my
States now.
Canada. I
I
hear it's
know,
a
no, you
whole
don't have
country
to.
up there.
You know, we barely know. We barely watch those shows, those networks. Um, but on Prime in the United States, you can watch Remedy. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. And I knew at the time that it was too smart to survive. It was just one of those shows that was just so
Right.
quick and so smart, and just like let's not gonna. We did 20 episodes and that was it. You know.
But you did direct on this, and you directed on
Yeah,
iZombie. So you
yeah,
directed
yeah.
these, and you're directing other things. What leads you to directing? Why do you want to direct?
It was just I just got tired of just going to work and just being an actor all the time. I wanted to have a little more fun and just something that elicited fear and anxiety. And they never gave me the chance on Flashpoint when they said they would. So
Right.
when Remedy came, I said no, it's non-negotiable. I get to direct an episode a season, and they were good to their word. And I learned more about acting through directing than you know.
I learned as a producer. We did a show called See Dad Run on Nickelodeon. It was a sitcom, but I learned more about acting when I had to audition actors. In the very first audition, I was like,
Right,
"Oh,
right,
right. It doesn't matter
yeah,
what the actor thinks. You're either the
yeah,
character or you're not." It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
took
yeah,
so much
yeah,
weight off of me for the auditions that I've gone up on
yeah,
since. It's like, who
yeah.
cares?
No, you learn so
It's
much
you're either it
more,
or
so
not.
much more, so much more. Yeah. And then Rob was
How
nice
did you
enough.
like directing?
Uh, I didn't like it very much.
So you challenge yourself. I get that.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
was
yeah,
the thing
yeah.
that you didn't like that you love about? I mean, obviously you love acting. What didn't you like about directing?
Well, nobody infantilizes you as a director, you know. Actor, you're coddled. You get to take naps.
They
They
bring
bring
you
you
soup.
food. They bring you soup. They make sure you're not cold.
That's my favorite Matt Perry quote. He goes, on Friends, they used to bring me soup. And
Yeah,
it's like, that just kind of
bring me soup.
explains the
Yeah,
whole experience right
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I
And
get
in
it. Yeah,
direct, I mean,
you're the daddy when you're directing. You're
yeah,
not the
yeah.
the number
And
one
I
son.
and I realize that a lot of people, when a director comes on a show as a visitor, they have to mind their P's and Q's, you know?
Uh-huh.
It's very easy to cross a line, insult actors, insult the crew. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's sort of like they're looking at you sideways.
Well,
You
we've
know,
also
there's a
talked
lot of
about this on the
mistrust.
podcast. In television, the writers are the kings and the directors are the technicians. And so
Yeah,
you're executing the writer's vision more than you're executing like in film, which would be
yeah,
considered more of a director's medium.
yeah,
So yeah, I can see the difference.
yeah. Fortunately, I got Remedy. I got the support of my crew because they knew me as an actor and they loved
Right.
me, and that was fine. Um, but on iZombie, I was just a guest star, didn't really know anybody except Rob, and Rob was nice enough to throw me a bone once, twice, three times. Um, but
I
it's
like
like,
that show too. Again, I mean,
yeah,
again, I like Rob. I
yeah,
like his stuff.
yeah, yeah. But if you had an AD who didn't like you, who would rather be directing other than you were fucked. If you had an AD that loved you and really wanted to support you, you had a great time. So it's sort of like,
So many politics in this. I mean, I'm sure everywhere, Janice in accounting is out to destroy me can be said in any business, but it's so true
it's
in
so true.
Hollywood too, like you say. Okay, so then there's Allegiance, another series. Like this
Yeah.
is your 15th series.
Yeah.
Um, then that's Canadian. Then you
Yeah.
do Fubar with Arnold. And
Fubar.
I don't know if you ever worked with her on the show. Fabiana
Yeah,
plays
she's
his wife,
lovely.
I
Yeah.
think, on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was in
Yeah.
summer school. I've known her for years. What was it like
Yeah.
doing Fubar? Were you like, again, a big show,
Yeah.
great
Again, it was
expectations?
one of those, it's like I love when people offer me work, when I don't have to dance.
Yeah.
But when they do, it's sort of like, and it's on the page, which is sort of like pretty generic, and you want to bring something but you really can't because then you're pushing it. It was just sort of like, it's just like a generic sort of thing. But Nick Santoro, who's like a lovely man, who's a very smart guy, prolific in his writing, you know what I mean? Like a working class guy like myself.
Uh-huh.
Um, he wasn't there half the time. So it was just sort of like the guys who hired me weren't there, so they're kind of going, "Oh, what are you going to do?" Um, And then Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's the most positive human being on the planet,
Today's going to be
you
a
know,
great day.
basically,
You're going to do
yeah,
excellent. Yeah.
you're the you're the greatest Fed I've ever seen. Nobody, you're the greatest. You're such a good Fed. I've never seen anybody play a Fed like you. I've seen them, and I've seen them. Oh, you're great. This is like, okay, if Arnold Schwarzenegger says so, but that's what that was like. And Jay, who became a friend, we did a movie called Humane together, sort of part of the Mutual Admiration Society, and so we ended up playing a lot together, and it was great to. Fubar was a lot of fun. Fubar was a summer job. It was a great summer job.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Jay Baruchel or Jay Sanders?
Jay
I'm like, who?
Baruchel. Jay
Jay Baruchel.
Baruchel. Yeah, Jay
I
Baruchel.
remember a friend of mine directed him in the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and we were at the screening for that. And we had a young son. We had our son who was younger then, and I played that celebrity trick where I'm just famous enough or just recognizable enough where I can walk up to anybody and call them by their first name. And for like 4 minutes, they don't know if they know me. So they're kind of open to like, and so I said, "Hey, Jay, come here. I want to introduce you to somebody." And he looks over and he's like, and I introduced him to my
Oh,
son,
okay.
who's really excited. He was the nicest
He's
guy,
really
but
the nicest guy.
Canadian, I guess. So there
Yeah,
you go.
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we get to English teacher, which are you still doing? Is that still happening?
They canceled it.
Ah, sons of bitches. All right, well then
Got
they
the
miss
word
out on
two
the
weeks
free
ago.
promo. Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh God, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Um.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Thank
so
you.
how
That
many
that that,
series
that
have
one
you done
hurt.
in the
That one.
last 2 weeks? Because you've done 15 more Canadian shows in a French co-production.
English, yeah, English teacher broke my heart. Yeah, that one broke my heart.
I would imagine. Was it a show that you were really invested in, or just like you like the working conditions, or
You know what? Nothing ever felt like a jazz quartet before. Nothing I'd ever worked on felt like music. This show, working on this show was like it was riffing. It was all the faculties. It was everybody working together, like a bunch of jazz musicians, just letting everybody do their solo, coming
right?
in, and Brian Jordan Alvarez, who created it, was the star of it, was a genius in his capacity to sort of contain the chaos. And him and
Wow,
Jonathan Kreisel, who was an executive producer and director on it, and
he's a great
Dave
director. He did a
King, who
bunch of stuff
yeah,
with SNL, and
oh,
he's just a really good director.
genius,
Yeah.
genius. Dave King, a writer and stuff, and a
Uh
lot of
huh.
a lot of those guys. Um, but it was just like we had it all on the page, and then Brian would say, "Okay, let's just," to the point where you go, "How the fuck are you gonna cut this? It's just a mess. It's just an
Right.
absolute mess." And then you see it and you go, "Oh fuck, they did it. They knew exactly what they were doing." And to be a part of that, the chaos, absolute having to let go of control of everything you knew as
Right.
an actor, everything. And at the same time to be the elder statesman, they looked up to me as the elder statesman. It's just like the guy who went to Yale, the theater guy. There was just like so much respect. But they were the ones who inspired the fuck out of me. These, you know, Carmen Christopher and just like stand-up comedians who are
Yeah.
just so funny. Just can't help but think funny. All of them. They
when you're
just couldn't help
working
but think funny.
when you're working with other creative people, there seems to be a couple of different stages. I won't list all of them, but like there's the one stage where you're coming in hot, you've got an idea, you're doing a lot of work, and you notice that maybe no one else is. But when you're in a group of people that are all coming in hot with a lot of ideas, it just becomes something completely different. Like you're saying, like the jazz quartet, it's like it becomes it, ideas are bouncing off of one another in a way that you can't create all by yourself.
No. And Brian allowed that to happen. He absolutely allowed it to happen. If there was a good idea, he wouldn't even, by the end, we were just like, we were unafraid to just give each other notes and try this, try that, try this. It was just like, it was a magical, magical place.
Did your craft service table give you any indication of what was about to happen?
We had everything on that craft service table. And it was
The exception
FX.
that proves the rule.
It was FX. Everybody wanted to be on an FX show. They was like, they knew how to do it. Yes.
Landgraf
is
really
like,
loves TV, especially good TV. It's a surprise,
yes,
actually.
yes. And then they just didn't, I guess they didn't have the eyeballs for it.
We'll be back after these messages. Hey, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV, and I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I know what it's like if you are in a class with people, and sometimes you just want to have that one-on-one connection with the person that you're working with to go over, I don't know, a particular scene, or maybe you have an audition, or maybe you just want the privacy to try stuff that you don't really know is going to work and not have anyone look at you. Well, I have the perfect solution for you. It's called One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can book your time at workingactorschool.com, and it's just me and you for an hour going over whatever it is you want to work on, breaking down the script, talking about character, figuring out your intention, the spine of the scene, everything that goes in to making a dynamite performance. So if you're interested in acting and want that one-on-one personal attention, check out One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can find all the information you need at workingactorschool.com. Act 4, questions. But we are to the questions, okay? So these are called the questions because it's a perfect title for it. It's called Tina's Gotta Know. They're questions that my wife Tina came up with. And the first question is, number one, that's showbiz. What would you say is the most Hollywood moment in your life?
Okay. Who was it was an HBO show about a sports agent,
Robert Wool.
Robert Wall.
I think is the name of the show.
Arliss. So I had met him in New York at the opening night of Chicago. There was an after party, all the actors, lovely, talked for like hours. I go, this is great. A good guy. Months later, I'm at a restaurant. We're at the same place. Friend of mine is at their table, says, hey, come say hi to Robert. I go, yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time. And I go, hey, man, how you doing? He goes like, who are you?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, you're on that show. Yeah, hey. It's just like, dude, are you kidding me? And I fucking slunk back to my fucking table. It's like what am I here to kiss the ring? It's like we had a thing in New York. We like, and then maybe vibed. I'm thinking maybe, there was a little bit of that, a little bit of this, you know what I mean? At the time, who remembers what?
Right.
It was like that killed me. That was a real Hollywood moment, where everybody's your friend until
But that's exactly true. I have a second question, which you may have just answered, which is that showbiz part 2. What's the most embarrassing Hollywood moment in your life? And I think it plays for both.
Yeah.
God.
Well, okay, horrible. Then I'm going to do a good one.
Okay.
Suddenly, you get invited to do the Hollywood Squares. I go, right. I get to be on the Hollywood Squares because I'm a celebrity. Where the contestants can't pronounce your last name. And I remember Brad
Garrett.
Brad Garrett was one of the squares, and he couldn't stop laughing when the contestant called me Encino Colantoni. Oh, he had the best time. Those were great moments where knucklehead celebrities would get together. That's where I met Whoopi Goldberg, who's like the greatest person in the world. And where you get to meet people like that and you get to play and be goofy. It was just like, you didn't expect anybody to remember you, but some people do. But you just walk away and just have fun. You do 5 episodes in a day and you go home and just have the best time. So that's probably the best sort of Hollywood story.
I love it.
Yeah. Encino. To block Encino Colantoni to block. Yeah.
All right, number 3, show me the money. What would be your biggest missed financial opportunity?
You know what? I'd say 2 divorces. Yeah, two divorces. That'll do it.
Okay, fair.
That'll do it. That'll do it. Because you know
Number
what, dude?
four. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
No. Go. I mean, Hope
Number
and
four.
Gloria was like Hope and Gloria. From where I was to what they paid me was like a quantum leap of just like my, and it was still like the getting paid less than anybody else in Hollywood. But to me, it was like
Right.
going to 6 figures in the first time of my life. It was just like, oh my god. So I don't know if there was any missed opportunities other than buying too many houses, 5 houses, too many
Five
cars,
houses. Yeah.
2 marriages. It was like, yeah.
Number three or number four, show and tell. As a teenager, what was your favorite poster in your room, and how'd you get it?
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, on a crucifix. That's all we could have in my bedroom. Actually, it was like the Sacred Heart. It was the Sacred Heart. There were no posters. It was like mom and dad. Like I said, mom and dad, very demonstrative people, very Catholic. So there was
Yep.
nothing on the walls except the Sacred Heart, which is cool because, it kept me on the
Uh,
straight and narrow. Yep.
Jesus loves.
Jesus
Number
loves.
five,
Yeah.
showdown. Okay, aside from kids, this is like business. What's the best thing you've ever done, and what's the worst thing you've ever done? As far as like, what are you most proud of and least proud of
You mean
as
in
an
my
actor?
life? Oh, as an
No, well, as
actor.
an actor, as an actor.
Well, the greatest thing I have done as an actor was say yes to being an actor and going and leaving home and going to New York. You know what I
Good
mean? It's
call.
just like,
Yeah.
if I didn't do that, if I didn't take that chance, you know
But
what I mean?
you've
Then
talked
this,
a lot about Hope and Gloria. What's the most proud you are of a performance? Like, what's your favorite character that you've played? Maybe that's a better way to ask it.
okay, this is sort of a long answer to this. When I
That's
was at the
okay.
drama school, I mean, we were working in a bubble, right? The performances were heightened. Everything was a heightened experience. You would be on stage any given night, you would feel like you were leaving your body. And it was just so
Right.
profound, just feeling alive to such an extent. And that's what the theater gives you. I'd
Yeah.
experienced it one moment on Hope and Gloria and have not since. Just a moment coming in was a joke, and it felt like everything was just flowing and everything was coming out of me. And it was like, and I landed. It was just like a triple somersault, boom, boom, and you land and you just keep walking. And it has not happened since, Patrick. That
I
moment, that feeling
understand.
of,
And it's
yeah,
chasing the dragon too, because now the
yeah,
rest of your
yeah,
career is like, well, I got to do that
yeah,
again.
yeah. And no one noticed it. It was me. It was all for me. It was the ultimate release in something when you're on a stage and
Yeah.
you just let it all go and you just watch it unfold and there's nothing can happen that will stop you and get you off that thing. And it has not happened since that one little moment that was in the first season of Hope and Gloria.
I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse that you have such a connection to that moment. I mean, that's great. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but you're right.
Um,
It's chasing the dragon. It's
yeah.
chasing the dragon.
I mean, there's that feeling of, because I think a lot of the benefit of, as far as it being a craft, the idea that we can always strive and learn how to do something better is
Yeah,
great. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
But it's also that aspect of, oh man, that was, the timing was perfect. The response, I nailed it. Everything about it. I waited for the laugh to die down or whatever it was that nailed it. I get it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and then for the worst thing, is there a worst performance? I have many where I can point to it and go, man, I was just not good.
Yeah. No, I've been fired. I've been fired once.
Would you
And you
agree with
know
their
who?
firing? Is that why you're
Oh
bringing it
yeah.
up?
Oh, 100%. And it was a film. It was a film. I was totally miscast. And just to give you an idea of who they recast me was with Michael Bublé.
A known great actor.
Michael Bublé replaced me. I'd never been fired. I was devastated. I knew I didn't. I mean, I hated being there. It was a film.
Right.
I had to play a singer, a crooner. Basically, Michael Bublé had
Yeah.
already laid the tracks down, right? And I was supposed to lip sync Michael Bublé. And it was just like, the director wasn't having it. He wrote it. It was just like, you're gone. And
Did they
Michael
do it in
Bublé
a
just,
nice way, or was it just like painful all the way around?
oh, I mean, it was a low budget film. It's like, how could they had to tell me? It's just like, look, we're going to move on. I go, huh?
On the
Okay.
low budget films, they go, good news, bad news. Bad
Yeah.
news is,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
fired. The good news is, do you want to be our craft service guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so no show, number 6. What part did you want but didn't get?
Oh dear. Well, on Monk to play Shaloub's reclusive brother that Totoro got. I'll
Right?
never forget that. That was a lot of fun.
You could have
There
done a
was
great
an, there
job
was
with
an,
that. I
there
think
was
that's a
another.
good combination.
Yeah, yeah.
He was
There was
great, but I
another.
mean, it's like I'm not going to diss his performance, but yeah, you could have done really good stuff with that.
Uh, there was a TV show that I wanted. Actually, one. Vince Gilligan. We all know who Vince Gilligan is.
Right? Breaking Bad and
Yeah,
Pluribus
but before
and
Breaking Bad, he was trying to
X-Files.
get a show called Battle Creek
Okay.
done at CBS, and I was working with him on that, and that would have been, a lead character, and it didn't happen. We came close to getting it done. Then he went off to do Breaking Bad, and then with his success, they redid Battle Creek, right? But they didn't call me. So it was sort of sad. I love that character. I think anything
So
Vince
Vince
does
Gilligan and
is
Steven Spielberg are on your list. I'm keeping track.
your words, not mine. You said
Hey
it.
Vince, I got all these shows. Maybe shoot me a guest star on some of them. I could have been a Breaking Bad guy. No show. Oh no, favorite show. What movie or show or program has influenced you most as an actor?
Tootsie, you mentioned Tootsie.
Yeah. What about Tootsie
You know,
was the thing that
well,
you got from that?
he romantic. Before I moved to New York, that movie romanticized the working actor in New York City.
Yeah.
Just I want to do the play. I'm going to do this show because of what I really want to do is this play with my friend who wrote it. Having an agent, arguing with your agent, this is what I want to do. This is like Tootsie was the thing that catapulted me into that New York sort of mindset of like I want to go to New York City.
That scene
Yeah,
in the Russian tea room with Dustin Hoffman and what's his name? He's a great director where he plays his agent.
Sidney Pollack,
Sidney Pollack. Michael. You're crazy.
Michael, you're
It's,
crazy,
it's
Michael.
like
You need
you're
help. You
crazy.
need help, Michael.
Michael
You need help,
Dorsey.
Michael. I'm Michael Dorsey. It's Michael Dorsey.
Okay, and finally, or not finally, but last general question: what's your comfort movie? Show me again. What movie do you rewatch the most? Do you have one? Is it
Midnight
Tootsie?
Run,
Ooh, Midnight Run. That's a good one.
Midnight Run, and Henry V. Kenneth Branagh's Henry V. I know.
I get both of those. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
You lived in California for a while. Do you ever go to Art, or was it the deli next to the bowling alley? Not Arts, but
Well, it was.
there was a deli.
Yeah, across the street. It used to
Jerry's.
be
Jerry
it
Deli.
used to be Jerry's.
Deli.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
There's Jerry's Deli, and at the countertop, there's a little plaque that says that George Gallo wrote Midnight Run here. He would go there to Jerry's Deli, and he would sit there and he would write that movie, and that's where that came from.
Yeah, Midnight Run. Then I got to work with George on a movie called My Mom's New Boyfriend or something with Antonio Banderas and Meg Ryan and stuff. So
Was
I
it a
got
good
to meet
experience?
him.
Did you enjoy working with him?
Yeah, yeah. He was just a fun guy. He just wanted the comedy. Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, number 9. Show me some love. Rico, what's your favorite performance of mine?
Well, Patrick, there were moments where after I met you, I would go back and watch Little House on the Prairie reruns, and you had it, man. You fucking had it, like a little
I
kid. Look
had
at him. No, but I'm. You know what? I'm not even trying to be funny, Patrick. The respect I have for just kid actors in general, because I hate them at the same time. You know what I mean? They really are a necessary evil,
yeah.
because they're just like they're designed to be cute and lovable, but just like no, you had pathos on that show. You had to work. You had to do, and I never saw Jag, so sorry, Patrick.
Well,
But Little
you
House
should
on
have
the
been on
Prairie.
Jag at some point. I mean, you were the perfect guy to be on Jag, but you were too busy doing your 15 shows in Canada and
Yeah,
your
yeah,
stuff on the
that and getting
CW.
married twice and losing it all.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Well, Rico, thank you for doing this show. Our
Patrick,
friendship will continue outside.
will we
I
stop
can't wait
recording?
that
So I want to make sure I have your
absolutely. But
information.
I just wanted to thank you on air here. I
Oh
am a
yeah,
huge fan of you as an actor and just as a human. You're one of the better ones. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I truly appreciate you coming on.
I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been to see you again.
Same here, man.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast and checking it out. It is an audio podcast wherever you get your audio podcast, and it's a video podcast over on YouTube. My socials are all patrick.labyorteaux, and that is on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm everywhere. If you want information on the school, you can go to workingactorsschool.com. We have classes going all the time. It's a lot of fun. I suggest you check it out. Hey, we'll see you next time.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.